football games to make money. He said, yeah. So that turned into somebody liking what I did, asking me to go work for them, and I ended up selling real estate advertising for the Los Angeles Times, and I started seeing realtors that I was calling on, dressed in fancy clothes, driving Mercedes Benzes, wearing Rolexes, and I knew more about marketing and sales than they did. I said, maybe I should transition in that direction. So that's what got me into real estate. So what does a realtor do? Well, first of all, you're a salesperson. And that's probably a word none of you want to be. No, I don't want to sell anything, but it's kind of got a bad reputation, people. When you become a professional salesperson, you are out talking to people, finding out what their problem is, and you're solving their problem with your product. What I do is, you need a house. That's their problem. Now I'm going to help them find a house. That's what I do. That's the real simplicity of it, right? Well, it's way more complicated than that. So what is a realtor? Is it a job, an avocation, an occupation, a career? Is it work? Well, it's work. But technically speaking, a realtor is a profession. CPAs are professionals, doctors are professional, engineers are professional. What makes you a professional versus a job? Well, basically, a profession is a job where you have to pass a difficult test to get into the field. Now, a real estate test is difficult. Most people flunk it the first time, but it's easy compared to an attorney's test or a CPA test. So if I pass the real estate test, you guys can pass the real estate test. So that's what makes us professionals. We also, generally speaking, are honored by a code of conduct. So professionals pass a test, work by a code of conduct, and then generally speaking, professionals are self-employed. That means you're your own boss. Nobody's telling you to get up in the morning, brush your teeth, comb your hair, take a shower. You got to do it. Maybe your mom's still, you don't want to live at home still. Maybe one of your goals is to be a realtor and make a lot of money and buy a home so you don't have to live with mom and dad anymore. Right? Okay. Is being a realtor hard? Is it difficult? Is talking to people difficult? For some people it kind of is. If you're kind of an introvert and kind of asocial, it might be hard. But guess what, people? I'm asocial. I'm not a social person, believe it or not. Why am I up here talking to you? Because it's like a football player. You put your helmet on, you put your shoulder pads on, you put your game face on, and you go out and you make it happen. That's what. Being a realtor is hard work. So how do you push yourself to be successful as a realtor? Well, your goal is to someday have people calling you up and say, hey, Fred, come on over and list my house. That's your goal. You want it to be easy someday, but to get to that point is really hard work. 1 in 7 Californians have a real estate license. 87% of those people quit in 5 years, most in the first year. So people say, realtors make way too much money. I say, well, if they make way too much money, why do they all quit? Because there's only a few successful people in real estate. In fact, 80% of the people in real estate make 10% of the people in real estate make 80% of the money. So you want to be in that quadrant of the people making the money. And how do you get to that point in your life in a real estate profession? Actually, this is going to be true for any profession. You've got to have a really important why. Why do I want to get up? Why do I want to start a real estate career working 60, 70, 80 hours a week? Well, because you have a why. Because someday you want to buy a house. Someday you want to buy your parents a house. Someday you want to send your grandparents on a cruise. You've got to have a really important why. You can make a lot of money. How many people in here want to make a lot of money? Most people do. There are also people that really, making a lot of money is not that important. It's more of the passion of helping people. Social workers do not make a lot of money. My daughter's a social worker, but she loves helping people. Other people, it's all about the bling, right? So in one respect, some of you might be thinking, well, I don't want to be a realtor. He's kind of a goofball up there talking about selling houses. I really want to be a teacher. My family are all teachers. They love it. They're great at it. It's fantastic. I could not be a teacher, but I can be a realtor. So there's something for everybody out there. It's hard work. Work's a 4-letter word, right? But if you've got that important why and you want to make a lot of money someday, you can do it. And guess what? How many of you have heard about the gender gap in pay? You may not know what that means. That means, ladies, that typically in the United States right now, for the same job, men get paid more than women. It's not fair, is it? It's not fair. Everybody should get paid equal amount for equal work. Well, guess what? In the real estate world, you're self-employed. And guess what women do in real estate? Generally speaking, they kick men's butts. The current president of California Association of Realtors is a woman. The president-elect's a woman. And the treasurer of the California Association is a woman. And the top 10 wage earners in the state of California right now in the field of real estate, the top 10, 5 are women. I'm going to tell you how much they make, because guess what? It's public record. It's not a secret of what we make in real estate. But if I can find this just might get you thinking about being in real estate. Well, Melanie made $3 million last year. $3 million. And Jessica made $6 million. The highest paid realtor in the state of California last year made almost $8 million. So, maybe you'll say, oh, you know what, maybe I will work 60, 70, 80 hours a week for your first 2 or 3 years in the business, right? CPAs work that much, probably. Those big fancy guys on Wall Street, they work 60, 70, 80 hours a week. When you get in a job as a salesperson, you do a lot of front loading. You work your butt off, and you do it because you see the end dream, or you see your why taking place in your life. So, and another advantage of being a realtor is you can choose many different areas to work. You might want to sell apartments. You might want to sell condos. You might want to sell new homes. You might want to sell doctor's offices. You can pick your own little niche. In fact, you may not even be a realtor. You could be a transaction coordinator and help a realtor. My wife is a past architect and award-winning designer, and she's a realtor. She's my partner. She stays at home in her pajama bottoms and her Birkenstocks and does my paperwork, because I hate paperwork. I'm the guy that brings the business in. You can be a property manager. So there's lots of ways to make money in real estate, but if making a lot of money is what you want to do, and again, I'm really saying this, that's important to some people, other people it's not. And that's why this might resonate with some of you, it may not with others. But you work hard, you get your license, you mentor under important people, you talk to a lot of people, and you can have a really wonderful job working out of your house like I do in Lincoln Park in Pomona with my wife, and helping people with the American dream, a home purchase. Any questions? Okay, how much does it cost to get a real estate license? Good question. Typically, a real estate broker will pay for it for you because he wants you to work for him. Question back there, please. Yeah, you. Is that your name, you? No, it's me. Yeah, me, you. Yes. $100,000? Yeah. That could be, there's different price. Keep in mind, folks, too, and I didn't bring this up. This is important. I'm glad you asked that question. You're self-employed as a realtor. You're 100% commission. You work for days and weeks for a customer, and you don't get paid until the deal closes. Okay? That's a lot of pressure. And you're spending some of your own money, too. But a typical house in Pomona, let's just say the average house in Pomona is $700,000. If you list that house and sell that house, you might get commission of $15,000. 3 weeks ago, I had 4 deals in 1 week. I made $75,000 in 1 week. Can anybody buy a room full of shoes with that money? Can anybody buy some really cool soccer balls and soccer shoes with that money? That was a week, you guys, that was a week. But I've been in this business a long time, and I'm not proud to say it, but I'm good. And I'm good because I've listened to a lot of really good people over the years. I've studied my craft really well. I've practiced really hard. I've taken some hard knocks. But it's a great, noble profession to help people with the American dream and make, and you know, and have a good time at it. Any more questions?
How much is the license again? I think that's
Okay, I'm sorry. The license is pretty much free. Typically, I get phone calls like this regularly. Hey, Fred, I live, down off, Gary and Holt, and I want to be a realtor. What do I do? I say, you get your license. They go, how do you do that? I said, you go to my brokerage, you talk to our educational counselor, they get you signed up for a test, they give you the paperwork to study, you study it, and typically the broker will pay for your exam because he wants you to work for him when you pass the exam. In the exam, they give you study tests where you study the same tests over and over and over, and all the tests you study are all questions from past real estate exams, so you in essence memorize all the questions of the exam. So when you take the exam, you say, oh, I remember that question, it's B. I remember that question, it's all of the above. So test is a little difficult. You got to do a lot of memorizing and a lot of studying. I mean, but like I said, compared to a CPA or an attorney's exam, it's easy. I passed it the first time. Most people don't, and I say most people don't pass it the first time just because I don't think they study hard enough. If I pass it the first time, anybody can pass it the first time. Any more questions? Yes, ma'am.
How long do you have to be in college?
Oh, I'm glad you asked that question. Guess what? You can have zero education to be a realtor. I do not have a college degree. Unfortunately, I was drafted for the Vietnam War, and that put an end to my college track. But you need three things. You need to be able to communicate well, listen well, and have average arithmetic skills. Not math, not algebra, not calculus, just average arithmetic skills. So communicate well, arithmetic skills, and be a good listener, and good at written communications, and ideally be bilingual. And I'm not bilingual, and that would be very helpful for me in Pomona, and I'm not. So look at the money. Okay, you guys, I'm going to come clean. You want to know how much I made last year? Anybody want to know? I'm not the big time guys. I'm not the big time guys, but I made $360,000 last year. No college degree. I don't have a payroll. I don't have inventory. I just get up out of my bed in the morning, walk into my office at my house in Lincoln Park, and I start doing real estate work. So I'm all for college education, but I'm also all for people getting up and making it happen. And I think studies show that for every home that sells in an area, $40,000 goes back into the local economy. So when you're a realtor, you're also helping local economies. Another question? Any more? Another question? Yes, ma'am.
Would you recommend your job and why?
What was that again?
Would you recommend your job and why?
Good question. If you don't want to spend money in college, if you want to get to work at 18 years old, if you want to have a closet full of shoes, buy a new pair of shoes every week. I don't know. I recommend it because you're helping people with the American dream. People, the American dream is to buy a home. That's one of our big things in this country. We call it the American dream, home ownership. It's a very special moment, ladies and gentlemen, when escrow closes and I hand house keys over to a man or a woman or a couple, and I say, congratulations, you're now a homeowner. You're now a homeowner. And you know what? When you see the smiles on their face, it's so rewarding. It's so awesome. So I recommend it. But I haven't sugarcoated it. I hope it's hard work. But you put the time in, it pays off in massive dividends in the long run. Questions? Yes. You being put up? Somebody's, yes.
He already has. He wants to know how much money you make again. We already know. Michelle.
A lot. But okay, I didn't make $7 million, but somebody in California did. Question? Yes. Okay, one more question, I'm sorry. Okay, yes ma'am.
How old were you when you started?
I first got my license, I was 24 years old. And you can get your license at 18.
How old are you now?
I'm 70. And you can say, folks, and you can say, well, why don't you retire? Why don't you retire like everybody's dream is to retire? This is my response. Why retire from a job you love? And I want to close with this. Find out what you love to do, get somebody else to pay you for it, and you'll never work another day in your life. Thank you very much.